First responders are often tasked with assisting the community in different situations and difficult situations that require physical activity, countless hours, and of course passion.
Well, this has been the case for a longtime firefighter in the Sioux Falls community who is now taking on a very different battle. This after a shocking diagnosis. Bailey Peterson has more on his story and the support he is now receiving.
Sioux Falls community members and first responders are coming together to support a former firefighter in his fight against ALS. Brooke Van Gundy has served as a firefighter for Sioux Falls Fire Rescue for almost 20 years. However, that came to a halt after Brooke discovered some shocking news at age 45.
About a month and a half ago, I ended up retiring because of the ALS diagnosis, which I started noticing things about 6 months ago. Is when I started getting weaker, noticed some different muscle twitching things, some different, just things that just weren't right.
He shared how this has affected his daily life.
Everything got 10 times harder. Like just going into the gym and doing normal things that I used to be able to do all day are tough.
Having to give up many parts of his normally active lifestyle.
It's hard. You've been doing something that long and you form bonds with everybody on the fire department and even other stuff, just doing construction or working out with people, doing different things like that. It's tough when it all just comes to a halt.
The shock of Brooke's diagnosis was felt across the community, especially those that worked closely with him.
Some news hits harder than others, and this was a hard one just because I started with him 19 years ago. Always took very good care of himself, and I can't even describe what it feels like when you first get the news.
With plans for a group of firefighters to participate in this year's Walk to Defeat ALS and support through other events, Foster says it is a testament to the department and the impact Brooke has.
Firefighters, Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, we are a family. We really do look out for each other. We take care of each other. Not only current members, but retired members' families. When we know that there's a need, we do what we can to help out.
As for Brooke, he says he is maintaining a positive attitude and plans to stay as active as he can.
Now it's trying to keep my body healthy and my muscles as strong as I can until something comes out that helps.
And Brooke wants to encourage everyone to take part in the Walk to Defeat ALS in Sioux Falls on September 23rd. In Sioux Falls, Bailey Peterson, Dakota News Now.